Morning, Monday, August 4th, 2025. I'm Larissa. My video diary. Time to drink some skulls. We're coming up on my Grandma Rose's birthday. Yeah, we are. Coming up on her birthday. My goodness. Oh, she's dead. Oh, she's dead. She's lucky. Anyway, so, Mr. Zelensky. You really need to be careful with Donald Trump. You can't trust him. He is, a pedophile. He is, what am I basing that on? The fact that he's on that Jeffrey Epstein list, and that is why he's covering everything up, right? And if he pardons Ghislaine Maxwell, it is a self-preservation move because he knows that if he pardons her, her days are numbered, right? Oh yeah. She's safer in prison than she is on the streets, and he knows that. And, you know, she most certainly has dirt on him, right? Right? In the state of Texas, that he is so gung-ho on supporting is so anti-woman, right? Like, she's their kind of gal down there. She's their kind of gal down there. And what they're doing in Texas with the gerrymandering, right? Trying to gain seats. Like, you don't get much more corrupt than that. Oh, God, my greasy hair. You don't get much more corrupt than what's going on in Texas right now, right? And they have even, it's like in past years, when Democrats have attempted gerrymander, like there was gerrymandering that attempts made under the Clinton administration and under the Obama administration, both. When Democrats attempted to do it, oh my gosh, Republicans like pitched a fucking fit, right? And I'm not saying that I support either side, Democrats or Republicans, because I don't, right? I'm giving you an independent of political party perspective on this. They do this to each other, and right now, the GOP's goal, the goal is to get women out of politics altogether, right? That's what I don't understand. Like, we have idiot women like in this country, like Lauren Boebert and what's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene, and there's a whole bunch of other GOP women. And it's just like, ladies, you are some of the dumbest women I have ever seen, right? Like, why all of the women that are serving Trump, they look like fembots from Austin Powers. They're all blonde fembots, right? The man cannot be trusted, right? Ah, Mr. Zelensky, I would keep your wife far away from him. He will try to grab her pussy. Oh my God. Man's gross. The man is disgusting. He is not to be trusted. Trust me. Trust me. He worships Putin. He worships him. He wishes he could be him, right? Yeah. Yeah. So just be careful. Just be careful with him, right? Oh my. Yeah, no, the gerrymandering. Yeah. It's, oh, Texas is grotesque. It is. Everything about that state is gross. Everything about that state is gross. Everything about that state is gross. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And that is why I have cut ties with anybody I know down there. Well, one exception. There's one exception. It's because he was actually born there, and that's where his family is. So it's a little different. But, yeah. And awful. Awful. Awful sauce. Awful sauce. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's the only thing that GOP cares about is getting women out of politics. And then the next thing will be to take away our right to vote. Yeah. Because that is what they want. That is what they want. That is what their goal is. That is what their goal has always been. It's their wet dream. It's their wet dream to be the Taliban. Yeah. Yes. Mm. Yep. And it's all been facilitated by the Catholic Church. Yeah. Yes. The Catholic Church plays both sides. And they have huge sway, right? That's why I've turned my back. I've turned my back on the Catholic Church. Oh, they're horrible. They're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. And all of it is over this ridiculous prophecy, right? Yeah. No, Fatima. The prophecy, the three secrets of Fatima. It's what it's all about. Yeah. Mm. Yes. 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 Putin too. Putin too. Putin too. He's all about that prophecy, the prophecy of Fatima. It's why he named his warhead the Satan. Oh my God. Russia is named in the third secret of Fatima. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. It is representative of the worst aspects of humanity. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway. Anyway. Got everything painted for the installation. Now I'm just waiting for the fabric to arrive. And I hope it arrives soon. Because I'd like to get that done. I really would. Supposedly the fabric's been shipped. Supposedly the fabric's been shipped. We will see, won't we? Yeah. Anyway. DocuCopies. DocuCopies is dragging its feet on my magazine. I hope that ships soon. Yeah. Seriously. They say they applied my discount, but they didn't. Because the quote, next time I'm going to take a fucking screenshot. Next time I'm going to take a screenshot. Oh, I print an ad for them, and they're supposed to give me a 10% discount on my printing. So I got the quote, right? And my discount was not applied, right? So I put in my notes, and then I have to email them. And they're like, "Oh, we applied it." No, you didn't. No, you didn't. The quote was what you charged me. You didn't apply the discount. So I'm going to have to call and tell them I don't trust them anymore. Yeah. Yeah. People gouge on printing fees. They do. They really, really gouge. They really, 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 really gouge. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Printing is so hard to find. Printing is so hard to find. Good printers. So hard to find at a good price. So hard to find. Mhm. Anyway, there was this guy I knew, Scientologist, Chuck DeGuida. Again, another slime ball. I mean, they have cards, and you say you're a card carrying Scientologist. That's like literal. That's not a joke. They have little cards, little identification cards that they carry. Oh yeah, he showed me his. Ugh, he was such a sleaze, such a fucking sleaze. But he was like, I know printers. You need anything printed, go through me. I can get you a good deal. I'm sure he could. I'm sure he could get me a good deal, but then I'd have to like. He was so gross. He was so gross. Slimy, smarmy, sleazy, lying, thieving, gross little man. Gross little hairy Chuck DeGuido. Chuck DeGuida. He was a fucking sleazy Guido. Anyway. Anyway. Yuck. Yuck. He owns this building in Oakland, Jingletown Art Studio, and he collects junk. He's a junk collector. Oh yeah. Oh, he does recycling and shit too, but like, but he's a fucking thief. So like for like a minute, I rented a corner in a room in his building for a minute, literally just like for a couple months, for $535. Sleazy neighborhood. Anyway, for the one opening, I brought in a vase, a crystal vase for flowers, and it was in my corner. He fucking stole the vase because it was a crystal vase. Oh, I thought it was ours. You knew it wasn't fucking yours. I'm like, where's my vase? It was just like you came into my space and took something. Because he was a fucking antique junk dealer, right? You gotta be careful with people who do that work because they will fucking steal from you. I mean, that's how my mother-in-law got shit stolen. I mean, she was also dipstick, you know. I'm sure there was, trading stuff for drugs or alcohol or whatever at Paradise Villa. Do not take anybody. Don't put anybody you love in Paradise Villa. It's an assisted living unit here in Santa Cruz County. They steal. They stole from that woman. And granted, she's a horrible, horrible woman, right? But they took advantage of her and they stole from her. So don't take your family there. They are not to be trusted. They withheld her mail. Anything I took over for her personal space, like for her room, they stole. I had to keep my eye on everything. And then the bitch that was managing the place tried to give me marital advice. I'm like, shut the fuck up, bitch. She was disgusting. Erin Rose Wiley. She was horrible. She lied and she stole. Oh my God, she was terrible. She was terrible. Don't take anybody there. Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway. Probably do some writing today. Probably do some writing today and some laundry. That's probably what I'll do. And maybe later on, go over to the gallery, do some work. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we will. 'Cause I'm feeling tired. No, maybe I'll die soon. Maybe I'll die soon and make a lot of people happy, huh? Yeah, Larissa, we're hoping you die. We're hoping you die. We're hoping you die so we can take everything from you that we can't steal from you while you're alive and talk shit about you and write all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that's what people are waiting for. Yeah. Oh, just because that's the way my family is. And a lot of people out here in California. I was telling Omar yesterday, bitch, when I was working at the city of Sunnyvale, So like she came into work 2 days a week. That place, government is so fucking corrupt, and it doesn't matter which side you're on, because here we are, these are lefties, right? Lefties, right? She saw me as a threat to her job, and so they smeared me. So they smeared, and I was young and stupid, but she had, I met two of her previous assistants, because I was originally hired. First, I was hired to teach classes, and then I was hired to be her assistant because her assistant was quitting, and her assistant then, she and I became studio mates. She sublet space for me. She was a painter. But she told me, like, when I was taking the job, when she was training me to do the job, she told me, she's like, oh, no, Kristen doesn't work. She goes, that's why I'm leaving. She told me, she goes, that's why I'm quitting. She doesn't work. She goes, I do her job. I was like, what? And I thought she was just exaggerating, but no, it was truly what the case was. Because, like, I don't know what the woman did. And as far as I know, she's still there at the city, right? She had tenure when I was there, which makes it harder for them to fire her. But I don't know what she did, because I did her job. And then when she went out on maternity leave, it was easier it was easier for me because she wasn't there making trouble, right? Like being a pain in my ass. Oh, awful, 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 awful sauce. Awful. I remember one time, because she was like, she insisted on, she had to proofread and edit anything that I wrote. I'm like, okay, whatever. It goes on city letterhead, blah, 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 blah. You're not a regular employee, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, whatever. So she'd have me write stuff. And then she would tell me to she would quote unquote correct my grammar with incorrect grammar and like not real words. I'm like, no, I'm not writing that. I'm like, if you want to put your name on it, go ahead, but I'm not signing my name to that. Like one time I was asked to do a to put together a benchmark quote for a service, a maintenance service on some public art, right? I had to, and so what did that mean? I mean, meant I had to get 3 quotes, compare them, and give my professional opinion on which one I thought was the right one to take and why, right? And I wasn't choosing the cheapest one because I thought the best choice for the maintenance purposes was the most expensive one. However, I understood that that was not in the budget, but that the cheapest one was actually going to cost more in the long run. And so the best option was to take the middle one, right? And I wrote, it was all very factual, and, I used bullet points and explanations and definitions and quoted other experts that I talked to and blah, 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 right? They were metal pieces, they were metal sculptures. And, my education is in metal. So, that I'm kind of an expert anyway, but I still talk to other people. So I give her this letter to look over, and she's like, you're being far too confident in this letter's too confident. You're coming off as being arrogant, like you know more than I said, well, my degree's in metalwork. I'm confident because I know these are facts. She goes, well, I would rephrase these and say something like, me, myself, I believe. I'm like, no, I'm not going to write that. And then there was like one, I mean, that is for a professional letter, that's like, that would get edited out of a school paper. Like if you were writing, a professional paper or something for a publication, a comment like that would get edited out, particularly if you were talking about something factual, right? Like not talking about philosophy here, Not I have a dream, I believe, right? Like, but these are facts, you know. Metal oxidizes at this rate and this material, blah blah blah. These are facts, right? Then there was another time I used the word especially, and and then the manager above her came back to me like, no, the word's especially. They corrected me, my spelling. I'm like, that's not a fucking word. Awful. Awful women. Awful women. Awful women. And these are people that work in government. I was talking to Omar about my experience with her. It's like she told me they had this artist resource file, and it was for use for when there's a law in Sunnyvale that all new commercial construction over a over a certain amount has to include 1% of the budget to be allocated for art in public places. Okay, that's the program. There's public art, which is art that's on city-owned property, and then there's art in public places, which is art that is in commercial areas, right? So if your building's commercial, if you're building commercial real estate and your budget is over a certain amount of money, which it always is going to be, then 1% of your budget has to be allocated for a piece of artwork. And so they have this file at the city, the artist resource file, so that are pre-approved. These are artists that do work that are pre-approved by the city, because when you do the art on your property, it has to be approved by the Arts Council, right? And so there's artists that are kind of like pre-approved. And artists can apply to have their information in the artist resource file. I was like, oh, can I have, no, you can't have your stuff there. Like, oh, okay. Okay. So I had to organize the artist resource file, and part of my job was to routinely contact the artists and check that their contact information was still accurate, right? So that when they handed out the bio, because that's what it was, you kept your bio and your CV, and listings of any art you have in the city, right? Placed anywhere in the city. So like when construction company would come to you, or builder would come to you and be like, okay, here are some people you can contact that do the type of work. Because then the file was organized, of course, alphabetically by name, but also by media. So it's like, oh, ceramic, glass, painting, sculpture, mixed media, whatever. Like it was divided like that. So I was so I that was part of what I had to do. And some of the stuff that was in there, I'm like, this is awful, right? Like there was just, and by awful, because there'd be some pictures and stuff. It's just like poorly made shit kind of stuff, and I'm just like, what is this? And I went to her with a couple people who, when I called to try to get a hold of them, I couldn't get a hold of them. And I'm like, can I just take these out of the file? Kind of thing. These are the questions that I had, I'm like, why is this in here anyway? And she says to me, she goes, "Oh, Larissa, you just don't understand, because you don't have any culture where you're coming from. You don't have any culture." She's like, "We're really cultured here in Silicon Valley." And I'm like, what the fuck? I was just like, I couldn't fucking believe what I was hearing coming out of her mouth. She has a fucking art history degree from UC Santa Cruz, which is not known for their art department, right? Like that is like, I couldn't get into a real art school, so I got into a UC school, right? Like, sorry, not sorry. You have a shitty art history degree, and you make wine charms as your art. She was stringing seed beads and little pewter charms that she bought at a bead shop onto metal rings to put on wine glasses, and that's what she sold. Her little side business was called Beads and Baubles. And she's telling me that I am uncultured. I didn't say anything at that time. I was just like, okay, right? Horrible woman. Horrible, horrible woman. Horrible woman. Horrible woman. Yeah. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah. And she'd stay home 3 days a week. Like every week. Because she had a sinus infection. There's always a sinus infection. I'm having a panic attack. Oh my God. That sounds like a real disability. And I think your job requires you to be at work more than 2 days a week. But no. And that's why they split her position in two, because it was just too heavy of a workload. No, she was just a lazy, good for nothing piece of shit in the office. And that's why she couldn't keep a fucking assistant, because assistants didn't like working for her. So I don't know what she's like now, but that's what she was like when I was there. And that's what she was like before I was there, because that's what both of the assistants, her assistants before me, told me about her. Like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it until, until I was like, oh, okay. Yep, they're right. And women are horrible to women. So this really screwed me over. Really, really screwed me over. Anyway. Just focus on my artwork. Just focus on my artwork and staying away from people, because people are awful animals. People really are. People are really awful animals. Yeah. She had twin daughters. Those girls would be in their very early 20s now. Like, they'd be like 21, 22 years old. Yeah. Taylor and Allison. No, I wonder. She got divorced, so I wondered, did she go back to her maiden name? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Just people. There's some people just really leave a bad taste in my mouth, and she's definitely one of them. Definitely.